Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Robert's English Classroom, where I help you learn some advanced English to express yourself more clearly and with more detail. In today's lesson, we're going to explore some advanced adjectives that you can add to your vocabulary cache. And these adjectives can help you prepare for tests like the IELTS or the TOEIC. And don't forget at the end of this lesson to take my homework question challenge. Write it in the comment box and I will respond to you. Let's get started with some advanced adjectives. Let's go. The first word is conscientious. It's a long word. Conscientious. Conscientious. Now, we use conscientious when we talk about someone who is being very careful and puts a lot of effort and time into their work so that they do it very well and very responsibly. It often relates to something when you feel like you have a sense of duty or obligation to do something well. You'll be conscientious. So, for example, if someone always double checks their work and never leaves a task or job incomplete, then they are conscientious about their responsibilities. They pay attention to detail and they want to do a good and correct job. Maybe you have a friend who's always punctual and sticks to deadlines no matter how challenging the task is. They would never be late, right? Their conscientious attitude makes them reliable and trustworthy. So whatever job they do, whatever task they do, it is on time and it is done as perfect as possible. Let's take a look at some examples. The conscientious student spent hours revising her essay before submitting it. So the student wrote an essay. She's very conscientious, so she spent hours making sure that it was perfect. The conscientious doctor always made sure to explain the treatment options clearly to her patients. So a conscientious doctor will be very clear and detailed so the patient understands everything. The next word is deceptive. Deceptive. Deceptive means to give a misleading or dishonest impression. So sometimes you might see advertisements for different products, right? And imagine there's a product that promises great results. This product is going to do this for you. But actually, in reality, it doesn't do that at all. It doesn't work very well. We can say that the advertising is deceptive. It makes you think one way, but actually the opposite is happening. Think about a person who pretends to be kind and helpful, but actually they have some hidden motives. They're not really that kind and they're not really that helpful. They're just doing it to gain something. We would say that their behavior is deceptive because it hides their real intentions. The business deal seemed too good to be true. And as it turned out, the offer was deceptive. So the offer wasn't actually what they said it was going to be. His friendly demeanor was deceptive. He actually was plotting his next move. So again, the person looks kind and helpful and friendly, but actually, behind the scenes, he has a different motive. He's deceptive. The next word is infectious. Infectious. Infectious is something that spreads easily from one person to another. And it's not only a disease, like COVID-19 was very infectious, right? It could spread very quickly. But also emotions, laughter, an enthusiastic personality, that is also infectious. It can pass on to other people. So for example, have you ever been with a group of people or maybe your friends, right? And they're laughing hysterically and loudly. And then soon enough, Even other people not in the group start to laugh as well. And they're not sure why they're laughing, but they just start laughing and they think everything is funny. So we would say that laughter is infectious. The laughter is infectious. It spreads around to everybody. Another example is a person who's very motivated or passionate about something and has a lot of energy or enthusiasm about something. And maybe you work with this person and their positive energy is infectious, and it actually makes you more enthusiastic and you more passionate about the project you're doing. So here we're saying that the energy or enthusiasm is infectious. So laughter is infectious, enthusiasm is infectious. Her infectious support for his teammates inspired others to be excited. The joy in the room was infectious. Everyone was smiling and cheering. Indispensable. Indispensable. Indispensable is something or someone who is absolutely necessary. We must have this thing, or we must have this person there. Let's talk about our smartphones. Looking for my phone, right? Let's talk about our smartphones. For many people, smartphones are indispensable. So when your smartphone runs out of battery, runs out of power, it becomes a big problem for you because smartphones are so indispensable in our lives. We need them. They're absolutely necessary for work or for communicating with friends and family. A company might view workers as indispensable. They are people in the company that are very valuable and that the company needs to function well. And if that person is not there, the company or team might not function very well. So we would say that those workers are indispensable to the company. A reliable internet connection has become indispensable in today's world of communication. Internet, Wi-Fi, indispensable. The manager considered her assistant indispensable for the smooth running of the office. The manager needs her assistant to keep the office running smoothly. She's indispensable. Tentative. Tentative. Tentative describes something that is not certain or fixed or 100% planned. And it's because you're unsure about something. So you can have tentative plans or a tentative agreement or a tentative meeting. So a tentative plan is you make a plan to meet somebody, but you're telling them, well, it's not 100% sure. It's tentative. It could change. The same thing with an agreement. A tentative agreement means, okay, we have an agreement, but not quite 100%. It could change. Imagine you're invited to a party, but you're not sure if you'll attend because you have a lot of things going on, perhaps that week. So you give a tentative answer like, I'll let you know closer to the date if I can come. So you're not quite really saying, yes, you'll come. You're saying, yeah, but I'll let you know again, because you're not 100% sure. Maybe you get a new job offer from a company, but you aren't 100% sure you want the job. You're pretty sure, but not 100%. So you make a tentative decision about the position. You're basically saying, I'd like this job, but let me think about it a few more days. So you're not 100% sure. It's tentative. The tentative agreement between the two companies needed further discussions before becoming official. She gave a tentative smile, unsure if she should be happy or not. Perplexing. Perplexing. Something that is confusing, or difficult to understand is perplexing. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with no clear instructions. Maybe it's a 1,000 piece puzzle. That can be very perplexing. Right? It's confusing, difficult to understand. Or you go hiking in the mountains and you have a map, but the map isn't very clear. So you're not sure what direction to go in. It's a perplexing map. The professor's explanation of quantum physics was so perplexing that most students were left confused. They couldn't understand. His sudden change in attitude was perplexing, leaving his friends unsure how to react. So perhaps a friend is suddenly angry and agitated, and his friends are perplexed, like, whoa, why is he acting like that? So they're not sure how to react. Sensational. Sensational. Something that causes great public excitement or interest, often because it's shocking or dramatic, is sensational. Like a sensational news story, or a concert can be sensational. It's just so good that it causes excitement and people are talking about it and interested in it. Now, think of a news headline that grabs everyone's attention because it sounds unbelievable. It's an amazing news headline, like aliens are walking among us. The story might not be important, but it's sensational because of the topic and because how it's presented. Aliens are walking among us. Wow. That's a sensational headline. Think of a sports moment where an athlete makes an incredible play, and the media or the sportscasters might call it sensational because it goes viral on social media and everyone is talking about it. It was a sensational play. The movie received sensational reviews for its stunning visual effects and groundbreaking storyline. The social media influencer published a sensational story about the celebrity's personal life that caused a media frenzy. Gripping. Gripping. Now, to grip something means to hold something tightly. Okay? You're gripping it with your hand. You're holding it tightly. So let's think about gripping as an adjective. So gripping is something that's like so exciting or so interesting that it grips your attention. It holds your attention completely. You can't stop looking at it. So you think about something that's gripping you, gripping your attention. It could be a TV show like a gripping drama or a gripping story, or maybe you're reading a gripping novel. You can't put it down. You just keep watching. You just keep binging that show because it's gripping. Have you ever read a book that was so thrilling you couldn't put it down? That's a gripping story because it keeps you locked in from the beginning to the end. Think about a suspenseful movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat, keeps you really nervous. The plot is gripping because you're constantly wondering what is going to happen next. So the plot is gripping. It's holding you, holding your attention. The murder mystery novel was so gripping that I stayed up all night reading it. The gripping documentary about survival in the wild made me binge all the episodes in one day. Resilient. Resilient. Resilient means you are able to recover quickly from a difficult condition. You show strength and you show toughness. You can have a resilient personality or a resilient attitude. It's tough. Things don't bother you too much. Or if you get knocked down, you can get up again pretty quickly. So think of someone who has experienced a tough situation, like they lost their job recently. But they don't cry about it too long. They're not upset about it too long. They quickly bounce back and find some new opportunities. We would say that person is resilient because they don't let challenges keep them down. Imagine an athlete who gets injured and he doesn't just get down about it for a long time. He works hard to recover and return to the game. Their resilience helps them overcome the setback. He's a resilient player. He has a resilient attitude. Despite the setbacks, she remained resilient, determined to complete her university degree. Children are often more resilient than adults give them credit for. They adapt to new situations quickly. It's true, children can adapt to new situations much better than adults. The last word is controversial. Controversial. When something causes a lot of disagreement or discussion between people who have different opinions about a topic, that's controversial. So a topic that makes people upset or opinionated and they have strong ideas about is controversial. You can have controversial opinions, controversial views, controversial ideas, controversial statements. It makes people have a emotional reaction and maybe makes two sides have different opinions about it. So maybe there's a law that's being proposed that some people support and other people strongly oppose it. That law would be controversial because it sparks debate between two sides of people. Some agree with it, some are against it. It's a controversial law. Think of a politician who often makes bold statements that divide public opinion, right? The politician will say something and it angers this side or it angers the other side. Their actions or words would be controversial. The politician makes controversial statements. The politician's controversial speech led to anger on social media. The decision to close the local library was controversial. Many residents expressed strong opposition. So there you have it, 10 advanced adjectives that can help you express yourself more clearly and accurately. Let's go over them again. Conscientious, deceptive, infectious, indispensable, tentative, perplexing, sensational, gripping, resilient, controversial. And now for my homework question challenge. Okay. I'd like you to tell me, first, question number 1, what is something recently that has been gripping you, that you're really into and you got to keep watching or reading or listening to? And second, if there is an infectious disease, what should we do about it to be safe? So before we had COVID-19, it was very infectious. What should we do about it to be safe? And that's it for today's lesson. Again, you can write any answers in the comment box and I'll respond to you. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.